listening to the Bourbon Nerds Podcast, Episode 13, The Name's Bond, Bottle and Bond. Man, that was a lot better. We really got to hire a special effects guy.
The Nintendo company, you guys can hire me. You got to talk to my agent.
Love Garrett's sound effects here. All right, well, we've got an exciting episode, Bottle and Bond. So pretty important topic. A lot of people, I had this question come up quite a bit. People are like, what is Bottle Bond? It's just whiskey, right? It's all bourbon and whiskey. It's all the same thing. No, it's not. It's not all the same thing. It is. No, so we're going to quickly go through everything we're going to talk about today from barrel to brain. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bottle and Bond Act, E.H. Taylor, some of our favorite Bottle and Bonds, Nerd Rage. We got a little, Garrett's got a Pokemon card story. We're going to talk about Post Malone making some music headlines right now in the 2025 Whiskey Awards.
I don't think he can miss as far when it comes to like genres because he's gone through many of them.
Yeah, his country album was solid, even though he should have won. Didn't Beyonce? Yeah, Beyonce got like the greatest country artist of the year.
Texas.
Yeah, for Whiskey Sideline, we're going to talk about the All-Star, NHL, USA versus Canada. Pop Culture Pour, we're going to talk a little bit about some James Bond movies, the new Captain America movie, and maybe some of our favorite Saturday Night Live skits. We'll see if we can get to that. Need balance, I'm going to talk about sleep.
What's that?
That's a good question. I need to figure that out.
Sleeping more is
stay tuned.
Sleeping less.
And you may find out. So, and then last call, we've got some exciting news and things that we're going to talk about and can maybe do a preview of our next episode. So let's go ahead and dive in. How you doing, Garrett?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. First off, I want to thank everyone for the, again, continuous support. We are fast approaching over 1,000 downloads. We really need to hit that number. That's a critical milestone for us. Garrett and I are working very hard. We just concluded our second interview at distillery. We've just lined up a big name distillery, which, newsflash, we're pretty excited about that one. We're not going to, we'll share more details on that as we get a little bit closer. We're going to do a little bit of build up for that one. And then we've got a couple other hooks out there. We're trying to get a couple interviews. And then March is going to be a busy month, which we'll talk about later on the episode. A lot going on and some events and things. So
what are you drinking there, Cody?
Oh, so we've got two delicious bottles. And when you think of Bottle and Bond, you have to think of E.H. Taylor.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can just go and not mention E.H. Taylor. He's just the godfather of the Bottle to Bond, really.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've got a E.H. Taylor small batch, which is, I think, as we talked to Blue, McDaniel is the gold standard, which, by the way, Ho Chi Town's Bottle and Bond stood up to E.H. Taylor. So
he was definitely up there. I unfortunately forgot to grab that bottle, or we would have been sidecracking that. So apologies, Blue. If you're listening, we definitely should have brought that one over.
Yep, don't worry. We'll be doing a video review of that guy.
I do have one other bottle, though, that I'm going... I told you I wasn't going to tell you until the podcast started. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
For this?
What
are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
Yep. I like that beat. Oh, Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond.
Old Fitzgerald Bottle and Bond, which, of course, mine's the 8 year, so...
Yeah. Which is I think the most beautiful bottle there's no bottle that can compare to the Old Fitz.
This is like the gold standard for like decanter bottles.
Yeah, I really can't wait till we get our video up and running so you guys can see some of these bottles. I mean, obviously.
I've been trying to include pictures and stuff so that way you guys can see kind of what these look like. Hopefully it's helping. That way you can you're like, oh, that one sounded good. I kind of want to check it out. You're like, oh, there's a picture of it right there.
Yep, I agree. So, we've got a lot to talk about. Buckle up your safety belt. We're going to get started.
Yeehaw.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into From Barrel to Brain.
Okay. We're going to talk about E.H. Taylor and the Bottle and Bond Pact a little bit. E.H. Taylor, also known as Colonel Edmund Haynes Taylor, Jr. The junior is important in there. He's considered the father of the modern bourbon industry due to his significant innovations in distilling practices, including pioneering the use of copper fermentation tanks, modern grain equipment, and column stills, while also advocating for the Bottled and Bond Act, which Cody will talk about that here in a minute. That ensured bourbon quality. He is most famous for building a distillery resembling a European castle called Old Taylor and recognized today through the E.H. Taylor bourbon brand produced by Buffalo Trace Distillery, which is based on his legacy and innovations at the old-fashioned copper distillery he once owned. Which the Old Taylor Distillery, wasn't that Castle and Key? Is that who owns it now? Yeah. So if you ever in Kentucky and do a distillery tour of Castle and Key, that is the Old Taylor distillery.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Just a couple other things. Before becoming a distiller, he was a successful banker in Frankfort, Kentucky, where he financed several local distilleries, which led to his eventual entry into the bourbon industry.
Can you do me a favor? Can you say Kentucky again?
Kentucky.
Oh, okay. You
Kentucky.
Said it Kentucky?
Kentucky?
It was kind of funny. Sorry to interrupt you.
He built a distillery that looked like a medieval castle known as Old Taylor, which was designed to resemble a European castle. He was actively involved in local politics, even serving as the mayor of Frankfurt for 16 years, which is a long time to be a mayor. Do they have term limits for mayors? I don't know how that works.
I believe so.
I know that some forms of government do and some don't.
Yeah, I believe there's. I don't know what that limit is. Limit.
Some sources claim Taylor was a descendant of 2 U.S. presidents, James Madison and Zachary Taylor. So that's kind of cool. And that's really about all I have for E.H. Taylor. I think Cody has some bottled and bond stuff that he wants to talk about.
Yeah, and if you're familiar, E.H. Taylor is made by the infamous Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Famous.
So bottle and bond. What is bottle and bond? That's a really important. You see,
what is it good for?
Absolutely making good whiskey.
Yeah, true. That's a good one.
So bottle and bond refers to a designation for American distilled spirits, primarily whiskey, that meet specific quality standards established by the Bottle and Bond Act of 1897. Which is probably one of the most historic, significant events that have happened in preserving the quality of bourbon.
I mean, it definitely is, because I think before all that, people were like using chewing tobacco and stuff to color their whiskey, things like that. So
yeah, and that's really what drove this movement. People were mixing things, putting tobacco, poisonous chemicals. I mean, the integrity of bourbon was being challenged during this time period. So a couple of the key qualifications to meet the standards of bottle and bond is, one, it has to be aged at least 4 years. It has to be bottled at 100 proof or 50% ABV. Label must clearly state the distillery and where it was produced. And it has to be distilled in 1 6-month period at a single distillery. So basically you have to use the same.
And in one season.
Yeah, in one season. So also too, which he talked a little bit about the E.H. Taylor. So this was supported by the Secretary of Treasury, which was John G. Carlisle. So, and again, this was made. And if you look at bottle and bond, I think when you're newer into bourbon or you're just looking for a good product, I can say with pretty good confidence that if you get a bottle and bond, it's going to be a good product.
I don't think I've had a bad one. I mean, a couple of them are like, I'm not as big on and probably wouldn't buy again, but it's not because they were bad. It's just because they weren't as memorable than some other ones. But every single bottle and bond I've had is good. So, I mean, whenever you see that bottle and bond stamp on there, it's going to be good quality product. And so that's why anytime newer, like if you see bottled and bond, it's worth trying out. They're going to be good, and some just better than others.
Yep. I agree. And again, this was all done to preserve the quality of bourbon, to build public confidence that if you were buying something that said bottle and bond, you were buying something that it was quality, and you knew it was going to be preserved in an appropriate manner, as we had established some of the key requirements for that. So again, we're drinking I don't think we talked about the other bottle we have, which is...
I was just about to say, speaking of good quality whiskey, this E.H. Taylor single barrel is phenomenal. So this one is, he was saying before we started, this one's cheating a little bit because this is a single barrel pick, and the picks are always going to be a lot better. And what that means is like a group of people or like a liquor store or something will go and they'll pick the specific batch they want. This one is a Texas pick. It just says Texas or Sazerac Barrel Select, and it's got a picture of Texas on it. I'm not sure exactly who picked this one.
I don't know, but whoever picked it, thank you. And I'm gonna have a hot take for a second. This might be the best pick I've ever had, of any pick that I've ever had. And I know that's a bold statement, and I know we've had a lot of great things. And Someone Say Whiskey comes out with a lot of great stuff. Every time I take a sip of this, and I didn't get one of these bottles, and I kick myself every day that I didn't get a chance to get one of or I didn't take advantage of the opportunity to get one. It is outstanding. And honestly, it's so good. It makes me not even want to drink the regular single barrel. That's how much of a difference it is.
For sure. Because the thing about the single barrels is like, so E.H. Taylor tries to they really pride themselves on consistency, and they are very consistent, but there are some differences in the single barrels. And this one is just the best one I've ever had. And another cool thing about the E.H. Taylor that you'll get when, it's kind of a collector thing because you get a really nice bottle, a lot of really cool history. You get the picture of E.H. Taylor, picture of, I'm guessing that's his cat. I don't really know exactly what that is. I don't know if it says on the bottle.
That's the distillery.
The OFC distillery. That doesn't look like a castle though, so that must be just like the OFC.
No, the OFC portion of it.
But anyway, you get like the history and all that, and then you also get a really cool tube. And so it's all about presentation, and these are which hopefully they start getting produced a little bit more. I know we see the small batch a lot more often, but I mean, they're $50, $60, $70.
Yep.
Like this is some of the best.
And
stuff
if you can find them available and you're like, oh man, I want to get somebody special a gift. These are phenomenal gifts. Obviously the small batch would probably be one that I would recommend. That's around $55. And again, those prices do vary in market, and honestly, things are going up. Like we got an Eagle Rare not too long ago, and it was $53 with taxes. So that used to be $43. So in this economy, things are going up. Whiskey's getting expensive. So, and again, it's a quality product though. It's worth every penny of that if you can get it close to around MSRP. So
I will say this small batch is hitting pretty good though. I mean,
yeah. Oh, no.
It's definitely holding its own.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, the single barrel is very, very good.
So again, if you're a proofy person like Garrett is, and I am too, so I always make fun of him that, but these are 100 proof, so they're not going to blow your socks off, but they're good. They're good quality. You get, I get a good cherry note, but it's really in the single barrel.
From the single barrel. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot darker than that. It's like a dark cherry, but it's not super medicinal. It's more sweeter cherry, but it's kind of, so the small batch is a little sweeter, but the
little honeydew.
Yeah, kind of like a honey. I always get like a honey note.
I like
in
the
some
honey
of these.
note, but then the single barrel you get that Buffalo Trace cherry note that's always fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's toffee or caramel. It's super delicate. It's not like very prevalent, but you can get kind of like a little toffee or something. You get that on like the mid palate.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying.
And then you get a little bit of oak.
Yeah, you definitely get hit with a little bit of oak.
Yeah, but what I love about it, it's like it pops. It's like pop oak, pop cherry, pop toffee, pop honey,
pop tart.
Pop tart. I love Pop Tarts. I haven't had a Pop Tart in a long time.
Pop.
They make protein Pop Tarts now. I need to get some of those.
I've seen those. I don't know how they are.
I haven't tried them yet.
Whole thing with protein stuff is a lot of it just tastes bad.
Tastes like cardboard.
And then every now and then, like the Fairlife. God, those are so good. I don't know.
Tastes like burning. No, Fairlifes are awesome.
Those Fairlives are great. I'm like, I don't know how you guys make it taste like chocolate milk and it's, a protein shake.
I got to start jumping on the protein coffee bandwagon that you have. You got me sold on that. So. Cool. Well, I mean, there's a lot to talk about just in general. What are some of your favorite bottle and bonds, Garrett?
I love Bardstown Bottle and Bond. I was actually drinking a little bit last night. It's very good. It's affordable and it's in every store.
Yep, that's a part of the Origin series. That's the
Black Label.
The Black Label, that's right.
Yeah, which I mean, one. Everything from the Origin series of Bardstown. I haven't tried the rye, but I've heard the rye is really good as well.
Does Bardstown make anything bad?
I haven't had any bad Bardstown.
Yeah, I know they do some of the Fusion series and stuff. I think there's been some that are like not quite hitters, but man, the last couple of Discovery series were fire. I love both of them.
I have Fusion 6, I think, and it's really good. I had some.
Yeah, I mean,
I was having a Bardstown night last night. I don't know why.
Bardstown, if you're listening, we love you, and we can't wait to visit your distillery, and we hope one day you will maybe be a sponsor, or at least send us some bottles, and we'll review them. And we will give our honest opinion, regardless if they're sent or to us or not. So
I was a big fan of the Redwood Empire Grizzly Beast. I just think the price point was getting a little bit higher than what it's probably worth, but it's a good product.
Yeah. That was kind of because I know you're a bigger fan of them than I am. Again, they are a good distillery. They make really good products, but those price points on those to me were just kind of getting a little bit out of reach.
Which is crazy because some of their regular offerings are $30 bottles, and they're great. The Pipe Dream and the Gloss Monarch, those are really good. But the Grizzly Beast bottled and bottled, I've heard the the rye bottled and bond, I think that's the Rocket Top. I've heard that's really good. Like I know Redwood Empire, they say they're very proud of, like kind of like Hochtown said they're really proud of their vodka.
Yeah.
They say they're really, really proud of their rye. So we really need to try some of their rye stuff.
Yeah, we need to get a bottle of that. So
but you have a rye over there that looks like the when the label broke.
Oh yeah.
So we couldn't try it.
The green.
We'll have to try to get that
What
out.
is it? The green giant or
Yeah, the
Emerald Giant. Yeah, Emerald Giant. We're gonna have to get that out and finish.
But yeah,
it
like bottled and bond. There's a lot of the like I said, the ones that came to mind are Bardstown and the what else did I say? Oh, I said the Redwood Empire. But
I'll say like this is a controversial bottle, but the Henry McKenna I drink it and then I'm like, it's okay, and then I blind it in something and it's like, oh wow, it always overperforms. And I will say, so 1792 Bottle and Bond.
Oh yeah, that's
one of my favorites. Yep. But since we did the single barrel and the full proof, it's like, man, it just doesn't. It didn't. It's still good, and
for sure.
It held its own, but it's just like, man, I would rather have the full proof. I'd rather drink the single barrels. Really got me excited. Like the finish on that, I really enjoyed it.
That Hochtown Bottled and Bond was really good. I mean,
yeah,
it definitely holds up with the H. Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're looking to try and we're very proud of, what Blue, McDaniel, Rod, and them are doing at Hochtown Distilling Company. So, we got to meet with them. We have an episode out, 2 interviews, part 1 and part 2. If you haven't checked those out, you definitely should, especially just they're fighting for their life and, pioneering bourbon in Oklahoma. So very proud of those guys and excited to hopefully work with them and be a part of, they're going to be a part of our community. We'll be a part of theirs. And, I hope to see some exciting stuff. Some of the things that they shared with us, the bubblegum barrel, the barrel proof. So get in line and get some of that stuff. And we'll share updates and things on our podcast and social media and stuff when they're coming out with some new stuff. So
he gave us a bottle of the bubblegum.
Yes, I have it over there somewhere in that.
Unfortunately, they don't bottle the barrel proof yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's coming. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be great. So.
I was also going to say, isn't the red and blue corn from Still Austin, are those bottled and bond?
I believe so.
I can't remember.
I'd have to look. They're down.
I know Still Austin has a bottled and bond.
Yeah, they do. No, they do have. I don't think those are, but they could be. They have a lot of different bottle and bond, and Still Austin's doing some really good bottle and bond stuff. And they're just in general. That's a really good Texas distillery, along with Iron Root. I don't think I don't think they have a bottle and bond, do they?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I don't know though. I don't remember trying any, and I don't remember ever seeing any. So I don't think they do.
I'm not sure if they do or not. Yeah, I'm sure they could if they wanted to, but I'm not sure. They've got a lot of other stuff going on, making some really good rye. I know that rye was really good. I mean, they have tons of good
that episode will come out. So this episode will come out on March 2nd. And March 3rd is Bottled and Bond Day, so that's what we're celebrating right now.
Yep.
The Iron Root episode will come out next week on the 9th. So look out for that one. That's going to be really exciting.
Definitely agreed. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into Nerd Rage. I'll let you lead this off here with your Pokemon story.
Oh, man. Have you guys...
Got to catch them all.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, jump on TikTok real quick and just search in Pokemon Costco, and you'll just see all these grown 40, 50-year-old adults like knocking kids into the floor to get these stupid Pokemon cards so they can go and sell them for secondary. And, I thought we were past all this because I remember around COVID this was going on, and I'm like, you guys are ridiculous. And then it kind of, I think Pokemon are going to produce a lot more. And so hopefully all those scalpers get scalped and, lose all their profits, quote unquote. But it's just ridiculous, guys. Like, I get it. You don't want to go get big boy jobs, but, you don't have to knock over. And that's the problem. You have kids out here trying to actually collect. When I was a kid, I got, booster boxes and stuff and opened it. It was great. I used to have a bunch of Charizards. I don't want to talk about it because that's a lot of money I used to have that I don't have now. And, just ruining it for kids, it sucks. It just ruins the hobby.
Well, I mean, to be fair, bourbon flippers kind of ruined bourbon for a while.
There is, but I think a lot of bourbon people, you see the people who do, and they put bucks, the picture of the buck.
Yeah, no post. Trade.
But like a lot of people, like,
there's a lot of good
trade,
people too.
We just want to trade, and I do trading. There's nothing wrong with trading. I
need to start doing more trading.
If I do sell, I sell around what the MSRP is. Like, I sold some stuff to Aaron for, MSRP, and So there are some, but it's not to the extent that Pokemon is. Like you'll get people like I don't know if you watched that video, but people diving on the floor and just like rolling around with all these freaking boxes of cards in their hand.
No,
It's just it's so ridiculous how I don't know. I can't. So I just saw that and I'm like, man, I have to rant about it because I hate scalpers. Hate's a strong word, but they just ruin hobbies for people.
Well, you can't even go to a concert these days.
Oh my God.
Don't even get me started on that. We'll talk about
scalpers for that plus the stupid fees that you have to pay for. Yeah, no.
$100 to get a ticket delivered electronically. It's absurd, guys. Like what's even more concerning about that whole ticket thing is like the Swifties couldn't even that case whatever went to Congress and they couldn't even make a change on that. So
it's crazy. Like you'll go to a concert and you're like, all right, we pay $100 for the ticket. Then you pay about $50 worth of fees. And then you're like, do you want to pay another $50 for parking? How about $20 for insurance? It's just like, well, now your $100 ticket became $250 real quick.
Yeah, it's insane. So, all right. Well, shame on you, Pokemon scalpers, for stealing children's dreams right from under them.
Yeah, just ruining it. And they're not going to care. They're going to be like, well, you should have got there first.
Yeah, you should have drove on it and stole it. No. So, okay. Well, this was a unique thing that happened with Post Malone. So, jamming out on Saturday Night Live to some Nirvana.
Yeah, it was the Saturday Night Live 50. I guess it's their 50th year. Yep. Which, Saturday Night Live's kind of been down, hit or miss anymore since like the 80s and 90s. But we get some bangers here or there. But yeah, rocking out with Nirvana, like you could just see Dave Grohl. Yeah. Like he's just like proud papa moment. He's just like, oh, dude, this is awesome. This is sick.
And they jammed out. So I think they're coming out with some music, right? From that?
I've heard that that's possible, which,
I don't know if it's a rumor or what.
I'm just curious if Post Malone can miss. So for the longest time he was doing his like, what was it like? What would you classify his music before?
Dude, he's like his own genre, man.
Well, like, before it was kind of like rap or but it was like
kind of like hip hop.
I don't know.
It's
anyway. So I wanted to like him because I always saw videos of him rocking out to A Day to Remember and just being that kind of cool guy. And then he did the song with Ozzy, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
that song is amazing. And I'm like, man, I really want to like this guy more, but I'm just not really into a lot of his music. Then he drops like the freaking country album of the century.
It was very good.
And I'm like, dude, this is sick. He gets like all these great country artists to sing with him. And there's no bad song on that album.
No, it's just a good album. I don't know if it was the greatest country album ever, but I mean, I thought it was very good.
I said of the century, like the decade or whatever.
I don't even agree with that. But
but
it's very good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in the debate. Like I'd have to look at what the last, decade or century country albums, but
I definitely think he should have won over Beyonce.
Yep, and we already talked about that in the last episode. Let's move on.
I know, but it still doesn't. But
and then him getting on there and just like, man, he sounds amazing. Yeah, he sounded amazing really singing. And Nirvana's not easy to sing. Like ask the singer of Puddle of Mud because he brutalized that. He tried to do About a Girl, and it was horrible.
I loved every minute of it. I like Nirvana. They're a great band. They kind of punk alternative, whatever led that kind of whole genre.
Yeah, it was like the grunge.
And again, he's not sound just like Kurt Cobain, but he's good. Like it sounded really good, and it was exciting to see that band kind of back together. And it was like a moment, it was just something like iconic, and he was like a man above men or something, and like the music, it just go watch that video if you haven't seen it. And that was
definitely the highlight of the SNL 50 because I honestly couldn't tell you very much more about what went on.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that's getting a lot of love and a lot of rumors. I think that went super viral. So, but
fingers crossed for a Post Malone rock album. I think that'd be sick if Nirvana.
Oh, I agree.
Posted an album. That'd be
awesome.
I think it'd be sick. I mean, Dave Grohl's not doing Foo Fighters right now, so might as well.
Yep, agreed. All right. Well, we've got some interesting. So we just had the whiskey awards too, as well. So, congratulations to Iron Root. Iron Root was represented in that. So there's actually a ton of awards. I know the best Kentucky bourbon was the Old Fitzgerald VSS, which
for sure.
I know that's probably one of the hardest bottles to get, but if anybody has one and wants to trade it or hit me up.
I can't imagine how good that is. They 1792 12-year got world's best bourbon. I thought that was really cool. Iron Root got world's best corn.
Yeah, corn whiskey.
I mean, you can't beat it when they're using like 30 different types of corn.
No, yeah, and they're like the corn, like they've got their corn down. Like they're doing some really good stuff.
Redbreast got world's best pot still. I mean, Redbreast is good stuff. Four Roses got best single barrel bourbon.
Yeah, and if you're an Irish whiskey fan and you love Jameson and you have never had Redbreast, go do yourself a favor. Go get you a bottle of Redbreast and thank us later. It is very, very good.
Yeah, it is good stuff. Let's see. Some other little highlights. The Tumbling Dice got best single cask, single rye. Single cask, single... Oh, I did say that right. Okay. I thought I messed that up. World's best small batch was Laws, which I've seen a few of those bottles. They've been kind of interesting. We'll have to check that one out. World's best wheat went to Lone Elm.
Yeah.
Tennessee whiskey went to Uncle Nearest, not even Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Breckenridge whiskey had the world's best finished bourbon, which I think, I wanted to highlight that one because Colorado's starting to show up on the map of good bourbon.
Yeah, they are, for sure.
There's a lot of buzz around Smoke Eye Hill, barrel proof. They're blue corn, which, news alert, I'm getting a bottle shipped to me. So
of what?
Of the Smoke Eye Hill.
Oh, Smoke Eye Hill. Yeah. The barrel proof that they said is the George T. Stagg.
So we are going to have to myth bust that one to see if it holds up to some George T. Stagg, which is my favorite. I think Garrett and I are both favorite.
Why did they have to go with the what's considered debatably the greatest bourbon of all time? Why do you have to go that high? Like just say, oh, it's a Stag Killer. No, you have to say it's a George T. Stagg Killer.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can't call a 5-year bourbon and say it's better than George T. Stagg. It's probably just not going to happen.
No, and interesting too. And I want to do an episode in the future on Uncle Nearest, guys, world's best Tennessee whiskey. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then world's best small batch bourbon was by Laws, the 4-grain.
Yeah, I already talked about both of those.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
Were you even listening to me?
I'm not. I don't think I'm.
Yeah, because I said the Uncle Nearest thing. That said it wasn't even Jack Daniels.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was talking about Laws, and yeah, you weren't even listening, Cody. You're not even listening.
I apologize.
Dang, you hear that, guys? He's not even listening to me. What
Well,
are we even doing here?
All right. Well, let's move on to the next the next segment.
Anyway,
Yeah. Next
time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh man. Whiskey Sideline. Let's talk about the wonderful All-Star game.
So what do you want to hear, the good or the bad first?
So let's talk about the good. Kyrie Irving, which I'm still, so just so everyone knows, I'm still sulking about this Luka trade. I have not got over it. I'm still in a glass cage of emotions, to put it in perspective. But I've kind of distanced myself from the NBA a little bit. But yeah, but Kyrie did get MVP. Props to him. And again, it's like a participation trophy award at this point. But
I mean, he got MVP for the least watched All-Star game in
of all time.
Yeah, probably
it's all time.
Probably all time. It was horrible. Like the NBA.
What did you like about it, Garrett?
I liked. You know what I really liked? I liked Wemby throwing a fit that nobody guarded the game-winning shot.
Oh, okay.
You can tell Wemby actually wanted to win that game.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is some of these young guys are going to have to step up and actually, create a change. And what was his name? PK Subban?
Yeah.
PK Subban said it best, in the NHL, and we'll talk about the NHL All-Star game here in a second, but he said it best. And it's the same stuff that Kobe was saying. People pay good money to come watch these games. They pay a lot of money to come watch the All-Star game. Go out there and show out. Like LeBron James is like, oh, I'm too hurt to go play in the All-Star game. And then he shows up in the picture wearing scrub, street clothes. Like, dude, get the hell out of the picture. If you're not going to be part of the game, get the hell out of the picture.
You're in, you're out,
Yeah. And then he said, there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. And hockey players, they play hurt all the time. They play injured all the time. They're going to go out there and they're going to play for their fans because they have a lot more pride. NBA players, it's like they all care about the money. And I get it. You want to get paid. But what are you playing for?
Yeah.
Like that really resonated with me. Like, what are you playing for? Do you have anything that you're even playing for? Or are you just going out there for a paycheck? Like Jokic at least admits that he's going out there for a paycheck, but he's out there playing really good, which last night they got beat by the Lakers and he took 7 shots. I thought that was weird. Like Jokic is one of the debatably the best player in the NBA and he shoots 7 times.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy.
That's weird.
But you got stars out there who are missing every other game. They're sitting, and Kobe Bryant, he got injured quite a bit, and he would tough through it, and he would play. And that's to me, stuff like that is why you're never going to convince me LeBron is better than Kobe. And that's why I'll never put LeBron in the GOAT debate, is because Kobe was tough and Kobe was a killer. You know, Toby Maguire out there playing. No, but Kobe, he was a winner. He was a champion. That's just what he was. And LeBron James is,
LeBron James
is something else. He's a great player, great athlete, but he's soft. I want to say he's soft. I think he's mentally soft, and he's always been mentally soft.
Yeah, well, because this is not a juicy debate or a hot take, but it's kind of like the NBA entitlement is getting out of control.
It's horrible. They don't, like, the owners and the coaches don't even run the league. It's the players. Like, why even have coaches anymore? Do you actually think JJ Redick's out there telling LeBron what to do?
Yeah.
No,
probably not. I don't know. JJ Redick, I will give him some props though. I figured he was going to be a good coach. I just listening to him when he was on First Take, and obviously just because you're a good commentator or sportscaster doesn't make you a good coach. But his basketball mind, he has a really good podcast. If you haven't checked it out, I think it's called, I forget what it's called, something 3 and Legend. I don't know, something.
Oh, I do want to throw in one thing real quick.
Luka had 32 points last night.
Yeah, I don't care.
I do. And he doesn't play for the Mavs.
Some sadder news. Greg Popovich had a stroke, and he's not going to be back this season. And I think that's really sad because he's my favorite coach of all time. I'm a big Tim Duncan guy. I'm a big fan of that spurt. Like, that's, to me, once Tim Duncan retired, the NBA kind of went downhill which I'm seeing a little more from the Thunder, like the team mentality.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's why I'm loving the Thunder. I'm loving what they're doing. They want to play as a team. They're having fun. That's how the NBA should be, and it's not. You know? And it really sucks. I think Wemby's out for the rest of the season. I
was going to
too.
mention that.
And then
he's got a blood
is out.
disease.
Like, it really sucks for that organization because I love that organization. I think they're still trying to, but just getting hit. And I hope a speedy recovery for Pop, and I hope he can come back and coach. If not, it was a great career.
Yeah, I mean, he'll go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I think they were making some good moves, and I think they were starting to get there. And it just really sucks that hit them.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
You have anything else on the NBA, or do we move on to the NHL?
No. Did you see the slam dunk contest?
I don't care.
It was actually the slam
Matt
dunk.
McClung is just going to go out there and win. Like, dude is probably bagging groceries the whole season, and they're like, "Hey, you ready for the dunk contest?"
For sure. His dunk was insane, though.
No, they look cool. I used to love watching when Vince Carter did it and Michael Jordan and all them, and I think it's really kind of. They do a lot of gimmicky stuff, but the dunks are still pretty cool. And, I know people are a freak of athletes these days. So, and I always said, why wouldn't LeBron not do one dunk contest? If he's like this super insane athlete, why not go out there when Dwight Howard was out there doing Superman dunks and stuff?
just for the fans. Like, they would sound like LeBron has a ton of fans. He has a lot of haters too as well. He's a very controversial player, But
that almost makes me feel like LeBron just doesn't care. Like, he might care, but it's just like, why not go out? Like, what is hurting you to go out and do a dunk contest? Is it because you don't want to get beat?
I don't know. I think it is there. What I've heard from his camp is that they don't want him to get hurt over something that doesn't matter.
Okay.
I know. It's a cop out, but
I mean, he gets cramps and he has to get carried off the floor. Like, okay, I'll stop bashing on LeBron. Speaking of bash, that's a good segue into my next segment is talking about the NHL. Modern day Bash Brothers, the Chuck Brothers.
Yeah,
that was great, man.
That was a great game.
First USA Canada game.
Oh yeah,
3 fights in 9 seconds.
Dude, that was epic.
Dude, Canada booed the USA national anthem.
What are you talking about?
And then USA said, "F around and find out." And they did, and we ended up winning. Unfortunately, we lost to Canada in the finals, but
yeah, we did.
Showed them who's boss that game in Canada.
Yeah,
boom, baby! Don't boo our national anthem.
Yeah, it went in overtime. It could have gone either way. It was a great game. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go back and watch it. I hope they do more things like that. I hope you get to see more stuff.
But and a lot of people were tuning in that was like, this is like the highest watched
one of the highest
hockey event ever. Like it's great, and I love hockey, and I'm so excited to see more people get eyes on it. It's like the WNBA. That's like the Caitlin Clark effect. A lot of people are more. I mean, Angel Reese can say whatever she wants, but it's the Caitlin Clark effect. Angel Reese isn't even the best player on her team. Anyway, going back to hockey,
man. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
I just keep seeing it brought up, and she was getting so mad that there's a Caitlin Clark billboard like right by Chicago Stadium. Like Nike's like, we don't care who you are. We're gonna promote Caitlin Clark, baby.
Yeah, I mean Caitlin Clark's awesome. It's sad.
And she's taking it well.
Yeah, right? she's. I think she's been very humble. You know, obviously, it's tough being that type of public figure and where she's from, and there's a lot of controversy and people saying things and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's nice to see the WNBA is getting some recognition, and you know, I forgot where I read this, but their merchandise sales went up 425%. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, and I'm sure, like statistically, that you know it was kind of lower, but I don't know from a million standpoint. I'd have to go back and find that where I read that. But yeah, that's pretty insane. So yeah, anything else you want to talk about? No, hockey's got blood, passion, and soul, and that's, I think, it's one of the few sports. You know, football, you still get some of that as well, but I mean,
we won't even talk about the flag football game. I don't even know why NFL has anything anymore. Like the skills competition's kind of cool,
yeah.
But I mean, if you're just playing flag football, just give it up. It's not working, guys. The MLB one's still cool because whenever they play, whoever wins gets home field advantage.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The World Series. So
the All-Star game last year was great.
And so like, MLB, they're out there playing too. I think that's probably the second best behind NHL for me.
Yeah, I agree with that too as well. So,
and that's pretty sad because I don't like baseball. So
all right, well, let's move on to happier topics. Let's move over to pop culture pour.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So
James Bond.
So what's your favorite James Bond movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Who's your favorite James Bond? And then we'll go.
So controversial pick, but I'm gonna have to lean towards Daniel Craig.
God, if you would have said Pierce Brosnan, I would have punched you.
No, I would never say that.
Daniel Craig's good. He does a good job.
And Sean Connery at like by hairs, like the closest second. You could honestly flip. I mean, Sean Connery's probably the best Bond, but
I would pick Sean Connery. I love Sean Connery. He's got all the charisma.
I'm Sean Connery.
So on that note, what's your favorite movie?
You know, this is probably why Daniel Craig, and this isn't the most popular one, but Casino Royale is probably the one with Daniel Craig. I love that movie.
And actually, like, that was the first one. Mads Mikkelsen, I actually met him and he signed one of my pops.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's the villain in Casino Royale. He actually defeated Bond if it wasn't for Viper. Was it Viper?
I think so.
I think that's her name. She saved him.
No, she did.
Yeah, without her, he would have died.
He would have died.
And yeah, so that's the first. I think that's one of the first times that he's really been
the card game. Like, you know, and I love poker, so I'm a sucker for that, like, kind of stuff. But that whole movie, the chick in the movie I forgot her name, but she's smoking hot.
Is it Eva Green? I think it's Eva Green.
I think so. It's Eva something. I didn't know her last name, but yeah. I mean, I just love that. Skyfall's amazing. So like another Daniel Craig,
for sure. Javier Bardem's probably one of the best villains they've had in a Bond movie. Which Mads was great too. And then they kind of fell off in Spectre and No Time to Die. But
yeah,
you know, the Spectre ended up becoming like a love movie, which was kind of weird transition. And then they kind of, I feel like, wasted Christoph Waltz because I think Christoph Waltz would have been amazing as Blofeld.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't hate that movie, but it's not. And it sucks kind of coming after. You know, you had Casino Royale. Wait, what was the one between Royale and Skyfall?
Was it?
No, there was one between. Yeah. It was because that one wasn't as good either. I can't remember what that one was called.
I can't remember.
But anyway, you had Spectre.
There's 25 James Bond movies. Yeah, that's nuts.
Well, and, he made 5 of them.
Yeah.
He had Spectre, and then he had No Time to Die, which No Time to Die was more of a send off for Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
And so it was fine, but it also wasn't that good. But it was also kind of a love letter to Daniel Craig. So I thought that was kind of nice.
Yeah. That actually, I got a little teary eyed that part where the rockets are getting on him. Just, I was thinking, because it made me think of my daughter, and just, you know, like I was traveling, I was on the plane, I watched it, and I was just like, I don't know, I got a little teary eyed on that. So,
but actually, nostalgia, I think my favorite is GoldenEye, and that's probably the only good Pierce Brosnan one.
That is the only good one, which is sad because I think he makes a decent Bond. Like, he does a great job in GoldenEye.
He's not a great actor, but he was a fine James Bond. And then he had tidal waves chasing after him, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But GoldenEye was great. I you know, the game was the game's a classic. Like, that's one of the classic Nintendo 64 games that you think about, or was it 64. I think it was Nintendo 64.
GoldenEye? Yeah, it was an epic.
That's I was trying to remember if that was 64 or if that was Super Nintendo. But
no,
I'm pretty
N64.
Yeah, it was N64.
Yeah. One of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Yeah, so the movie and again you get what's Homeboy's name that was Ned Stark? I can't think of his name, but he always gets killed in movies and he ends up becoming the villain. Like I thought that was really cool that he was a double O and then he turned and was I think his name was Trevelyan or something in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sean Bean. That's
Sean Bean,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's mine. That's nostalgia. My favorite James Bond is Sean Connery and Daniel Craig did a good job. Actually, they've been talking. So Bezos, I guess Amazon owns the James Bond name, and he's been asking people who they want.
Oh,
who do you think everyone's top choice is?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it's Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I would think.
Would you be excited for Henry 100%?
Cavill?
Someone mentioned Idris Elba, and I think he would be pretty good as James Bond. He's a very good actor.
Yeah. No, I think they were going to choose him, and there was some controversy about it or something.
I think they were in the middle. I think there's been a lot of things go on since Daniel Craig because now Amazon owns it. So I'm guessing there was some kind of ownership thing.
Yeah,
so.
I would love to see Henry Cavill. I've got a man crush. He's in one of those guys like Pedro Pascal. I love his movies. Like I love him as The Witcher. Man, that's such a good series with him.
Yeah, and I wish they wouldn't. I think there was a whole thing with how they wanted to change it, and he's all about he loves The Witcher, so he doesn't want to change. But
yeah,
so he left, and now that you're stuck with Liam Hemsworth, congratulations.
Yeah, you're not welcome.
You're not welcome. Miley Cyrus's boyfriend, or whatever he is now.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of Goldfinger's really good. We talked about that. Yeah, Sean Connery's got
Russia with Love.
From Russia with Love is really good. That's from 1963.
And then of course you got the great parody, the Austin Powers movies.
Oh yeah,
those are parodied after James Bond. So
for sure,
you could kind of count those as James Bond movies, I guess.
Those are pretty funny.
Dr. Evil is very similar to Blofeld.
I haven't watched one of Austin Powers in a long time. I think they were right in their right timeline when they came out.
I love gold.
Yeah. The smell of it, the taste of it, the texture. Yeah, that's funny. Those are so funny. But yeah, I mean, James Bond's got a lot of great movies. We'd love to hear what you think and who your favorite James Bond and what your favorite James Bond movie is. So, we thought that would be a fun topic to today in the Bald on Bond episode. So, and I did. For sure. You got to hear my Sean Connery impression.
Sean Connery. Pretty good. Actually, I watched The Rock last night.
Ooh,
Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage.
That's a great movie.
It's very good. Very good.
So, all right. So let's talk. Let's move over to the MCU and talk about the new Captain America, Brave New World.
This is a spoiler. Or a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie yet and don't want to be spoiled, you might skip this part. But we are going to dive in. So let me hear what you think. You said that you needed to sit on it for a minute. So have you sat on it?
I sat on it, and I think our ratings are pretty close. You gave it a 6. I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, which I posted my review on our pages. If you're part of our groups, actually, he asked me to do it, and in like 5 minutes, I typed out this huge long thing.
I thought it was really good too. I think you nailed it. Like I didn't disagree with anything that you said, except I thought it was a little bit better than a 6. And again, there's nothing wrong with your score. I just feel like when I see a 6 on a movie, I'm like, I think it was the action scenes to me gave it that extra 0.5 because I did think the action was great.
The audience gave it a 78%. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty appropriate around like that. I think for me, like an 8 is too high.
Oh yeah, 100%. A 7 seems like,
and then the critics had it at a 5, which I think is too low. So yeah, I guess 6.5 is probably more accurate. But
yeah, and I mean we can squabble over 0.5. It doesn't make that much of a difference. But I thought it was closer to in the 7 range, than it was like below 6. But I thought your feedback was warranted. I understand, and I know we talked a little bit about this already, but I would have liked to see a little bit more from the Red Hulk. I know he couldn't stand up, so I think you could have gone a little bit different direction. Maybe he got some help or some allies. I know this was all
Bruce
about
Banner.
him. Yeah, somebody
like this is kind of a sequel to the Incredible Hulk from Edward Norton, and I know that Marvel's had issues with the Hulk rights because it's technically Universal still, but this seemed like a Incredible Hulk movie because it has the leader, it has Samuel Stearns from there. It has, General Ross had Betty Ross for the little time that she was in it. I was kind of confused by that, but why not have Mark Ruffalo come in? And I mean, that'd be kind of confusing. Well, I guess you recast Thunderbolt Ross, so might as well. But it felt like a kind of a sequel to that. So I think if you could have brought in Mark Ruffalo, and that would have been really cool to see some Hulk versus Red Hulk fight. But
yeah, and the one thing that left me wanting more was Carl Lumbly, Isaiah Bradley, his character. I wanted to see more from him. I thought his acting was, and I don't know if you agree. We didn't really talk about this.
No, and actually, he's a super soldier, so that would have been great for him to be in the fight. At the end. What would have been really cool is to have Sam Wilson, Isaiah, and Bucky, and have like a trio of Captain Americas.
Bucky was in the movie for like a minute,
and that was actually added. I don't think that was supposed to be part of the movie.
Yeah,
I think they added that in the reshoots.
Those two are so good together.
They are. And can you imagine those three fighting Red Hulk?
That would have been epic. And then so I think they could have done better things. I will say the when they're out in the ocean, around the Celestial.
Oh yeah, that
fighting that was superb. But that whole action scene and the play with that was like the one part I really thought the leader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the main villain.
Which he never says that he's the leader.
I keep wanting to call him Mastermind.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And actually, they changed the design on him because he was supposed to be more comic accurate originally, and then I guess they changed it for him to look more mutated. I don't think it looks bad. It looks way off from his comic book.
I wasn't a fan of it. Personally.
My problem. I think it was casting. So they had. I can't even think of his name right now.
Are you talking about the
guy who played the leader? But he's not meant. He's never really been a serious actor.
Tim Blake
Nelson. I love Tim Blake Nelson. Like Old Country for Old Men. He's fantastic.
Oh, he's excellent in that.
But I don't think he's ever been great. And he even said that he had to grow up for this role because he's never really been that kind of. He's not really a villain. And so whenever they cast him as Samuel Stearns in the original, I was kind of like, well, okay, but I don't see him being a villain. Like he just doesn't feel like a villain. And I think he did the best he could. But I just don't think he's on that level. And I think you need, like, I could imagine like Benedict Cumberbatch playing like the leader because he talks very intellectual. He's very intellectual.
That kind of actor that
kind of actor needs to be that. And so I understand bringing him back from the original Incredible Hulk, and we struggle so much with recastings. I know they're talking about recasting Kang.
Yeah,
for the upcoming movies.
No, actually, the rumor is they're bringing him back.
No, they're not going to do that. They've already kind of scrapped. Well, I think that might have been a thought originally, but I don't think because he has made an acting comeback, which I've heard people are enjoying. But no, they're actually going to recast him, and I think Doom's going to take.
So 100%, it's been confirmed. Because the last
confirmed-ish.
Okay, because I watched a couple
from a very reliable source.
Okay. Let's table that.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that's kind of, but I think they are going to eventually because you can't just you can't just have Kang disappear.
Yeah, you got to end the Kang series for sure.
You have to have something happen. So
a couple other actors I wanted to get your opinion on, and I just wanted to talk about it. For the Captain America movie.
Okay.
So what were your thoughts on Harrison Ford and how he did?
It's tough because William Hurt's a great actor. He did a fantastic job. He was in the Incredible Hulk. He was in the Avengers and. Anyway, he did such a great job with Thaddeus Ross. It's hard to see somebody else as that. And I'm sure some people don't even put that connection. They just think that Harrison Ford's a different character. I think Harrison Ford was fine. My issue is...
I guess it's kind of like replacing the Black Panther. Like, you just can't do that.
And I don't know. One of my issues is Harrison Ford's getting old. He can't do this very, very... very long.
He's giving me Clint Eastwood vibes. So get off my lawn.
Oh man, yeah. And so how much are we actually going to get to see the Red Hulk, So
yeah, and not for our audience, like I love Harrison Ford. Like Han Solo is one of my absolute favorite characters in whatever the nerd world or whatever you want to look at. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the greatest movies ever, in my opinion. So he's just getting to a point, I think, and you could see, I mean, he was a point where he had his shirt off, he was exercising or whatever.
He looked rough.
He looked pretty old, man.
And William Hurt didn't look that old.
No. And I don't think he did a bad job. I just, it's like,
I think he was fine, and I don't know. I think it was okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I think I'm in the same camp as you. What about Esposito, the Sidewinder?
They didn't do that whole society. I think there should have been featured more. And actually, I think Seth Rollins is a WWE actor. He had a character, and there was other characters. Actually, the girl who was the Red Room girl, who was the Black Widow.
Yep.
She was actually supposed to be something completely different. There was a whole other side story. This movie got reshot a lot.
You could tell, like, to me that, like, and I love, like, Giancarlo Esposito is one of my all-time favorite actors. I think he is phenomenal acting. Like, I couldn't even, like, he's in The Boys, he's in a million movies. Yeah. Like, I can't even rattle them all off right now. But I thought it was just like, hey, I'm here, I'm gone. Okay, I'm here, I'm gone. It was kind of like he was thrown in. Yeah. And I liked his character. I thought it did okay, but it was just like a lot of the movie seemed like thrown together kind of in certain parts of it.
Yeah.
So, and that it goes to what you talked a little bit about, the reshooting and redoing the story and adding this character and that character. And you could feel that. And I think that's what kept this movie from being really, really good. Unfortunately. And I think there's some really good things in this movie that we can be hopeful. I thought, like, the whole Falcon, Captain America, like that Wakanda, whatever they built him, whatever those wings. Mm-hmm. I thought there were some really cool, like some of those fight scenes when he flies and lands and all that stuff. And then, redistributing the power he's taken, like the Black Panther suit, some of that stuff. I thought that was really cool. Nice little addition. So,
yeah. And I don't know, this is the first MCU movie of the year, and you have Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four coming up, and I think those movies are going to kick ass. So
I agree. I think
this one kind of it came out right after Deadpool and Wolverine, which I also think was really good, other than possibly Cassandra Nova being not a great villain, but I think it just hit at a weird time, and they just had so many issues with the movie, and it turned out better than I thought it would be.
I loved it. I enjoyed just Ryan Reynolds and Hugh
Jackman. I'm talking about Captain America.
Oh, okay.
No, I love Deadpool. No, I'm talking about. Gotcha. I think that it's okay, and so it's fine.
Definitely go watch it.
It's better than I thought it would be, but it's okay. It's like kind of like Iron Man 2's fun. But not a great movie.
Don't be hating on my Iron Man. I'll fight you over that.
Or the first Thor, it's very Shakespearean, and it's fine, but it's not great. You know what I mean? So, hopefully we get back into it with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and I think there's going to be a Spider-Man 4. In here pretty soon is Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again comes out in March.
So dude, that looks really good.
Dude, Wilson Fisk, that's one of the best villains.
Yeah. I
mean, they're actually going to team up to fight. Who's that? I can't even remember the villain I was talking about a couple episodes ago, but it should be really good.
Yeah, we need to do another villain, like live action villain discussion. Who's the best?
I actually watched something that was like the best and worst villain adaptions, and I actually thought that would be a good conversation. Yeah. So that's interesting that you brought that up. So.
Yeah, for sure. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
All right. Well, still go watch it. Let us know what you think. There were some really awesome parts in it. I don't want to run all the movie for you. So again, spoiler alert. So yeah. And then too, there was a new preview for the Thunderbolts. I'm like fan giddy about this one. Like, I'm really excited about the Thunderbolts. It looks so good to me. Fantastic Four also looks pretty good, but again, Pedro Pascal's in it. So
dude, I can't wait for Fantastic Four. Yeah. I think I've been waiting for a good Fantastic Four for so long, and from what I've heard, we're going to see some Doctor Doom, and maybe we'll get our first look at
Doctor Who?
Jr.'s Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom.
For those who haven't listened to our previous episodes, Doctor Doom is one of my favorite characters of all time. So I'm very excited about Doom Wars and Secret Wars coming out.
I'm excited. I mean, I love Doctor Doom too, but Robert Downey Jr. I love me some Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, there's other actors like Cillian Murphy. I think would have killed that role.
I agree. I wanted that. I was super excited.
Robert Downey Jr. is one of the best actors of all time,
in the MCU especially.
We'll see. Well, I think the Russo brothers. I trust the Russo brothers. They haven't made a bad MCU. Like, they did the second Captain America movie, they did the third Captain America movie, and they did the two, Infinity Wars at Endgame. So
yep, All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
I just real quick, I did go watch Hard Eyes. That is a very good horror comedy.
These eyes are crying.
I actually rated that one an 8 out of 10. So
wow,
there's actually a lot of really good horror. I've heard Companion is very good, and I've heard this new movie, The Monkey, which is Osgood Perkins, who is Anthony Perkins' son. He was Norman Bates in the original Psycho movie.
Yeah,
but he directed Longlegs with Nicolas Cage that came out last year, and I loved that movie. But I've heard the Monkey's getting good reviews. The movie Companion's getting good reviews. Hard Eyes, like horror's having a good year so far, and I'm very excited for it.
The Monkey look interesting. Isn't that a Stephen King?
Yeah, it's a Stephen King. It's a Stephen King short story, but I think he helped write. And then it's produced by James Wan, who of course was from the Conjuring series and the Saw series and stuff like that. So
Saw,
a lot of good people mixed in on that one. So I was really excited, and that I'm really excited that it got good reviews too. So.
Yeah, and I'll give you some credit. I don't do that often, but you do write some really good horror reviews and stuff. And again, Garrett's movie reviews are great. So, join our community, be a part of that.
I'll have to do one for Hard Eyes. I didn't even think about that one. Yep. I'll have to do a review for Hard Eyes.
Yeah, and in the future, that'll be stuff that we're going to be creating for content for our Patreon. So, stay tuned, join us, support us. We need it. We appreciate it. All right. Well, that's going to take me into Neat and Balanced. We're going to talk about sleep.
Yup.
Sleep. So sleep is very, very important. And there's a lot of new studies coming out that are showing even not only is sleep important, but the time you go to sleep. But I'm just going to give you, again, I can talk a lot about this, and I don't want to bore you because this is a bourbon podcast, but and there's like, oh, we know we need to sleep.
Bourbon helps you sleep.
Well, it can. Alcohol, it can disrupt your sleep.
I do have
a
funny story after you're done.
Okay, yeah. So a couple of things that sleep, obviously for brain function, it helps, consolidate your memories, improve learning, regulate emotions, physical health, it supports growth and development, repairs tissue, boosts the immune system, mental health. It's extremely important for reducing stress, improves your mood, prevents depression, anxiety. Your metabolic health, right? Sleep help regulate your blood sugars, promotes weight management, reduces risk of chronic disease such as diabetes and heart disease. And then the recommended amount, if you're between 18 and 64 years old, which is a pretty good range, I think that most of our listeners should be above 18 or 21, hopefully. Is the recommended amount is about 7 to 9 hours per day. I know I try to get at least 7 hours per day. Try to, 8 is what I target, but sometimes we're not that lucky. A couple things that are recommended to help, kind of get a better night's sleep is, have a regular sleep schedule. So I know that's hard for some people, whether you travel or what. I know when I travel, I have to get up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning or 2 sometimes, depending on the flight times. And I know that next day, I'm slogging through, but I do the best I can when I'm home and, trying to work at exercise and stay hydrated to go to bed around, 10:30, 11 at the latest, depending on what's going on. Also too, they recommend creating a relaxing bedtime routine, like whether it's, you take a shower, read a book, try to avoid using your phone.
Sip on some nice bourbon.
Sipping on some nice bourbon.
It's really hard not to look at your phone before you go to sleep.
It is.
Like if you're trying to wind down, what's the difference between looking at your phone and like watching TV or something?
Well, it's the blue light that kind of keeps your brain from shutting down. I guess it messes up with some of your circadian rhythm.
So what do they think? You should just like lay there in darkness?
Well, you could read a book, do something different. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do. I think even you think about when you're on your phone and it's at night, you're like putting it right up to your face too. It's a little bit different than the TV being a lot farther. They also recommend, they also recommend to, make your bedroom dark, quiet, and cool, which I can't sleep with the TV on. I need it quiet. My daughter, for whatever reason, has a sleep machine. She has it cranked up with like
Danielle blares her she has that, and she has a heater going, and she has a fan going. Like Danielle has a lot going on.
Yeah,
and she wonders why she has trouble with sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, also her dogs are kind of butthead sometimes.
Yeah, they also recommend to avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed. Alcohol, the way your body metabolizes, I know it helps, you kind of use it to help you sleep a little bit. But caffeine especially, I know if I drink caffeine after usually 1 o'clock, I can tell it takes me forever to go to bed. So I try to prevent that.
As someone who was living off of energy drinks when I was working at UPS, like it doesn't affect me as much, but I still try not to drink them try not to drink coffee or anything, at least past like 6 or 7 o'clock.
And then obviously exercising regularly will also can help. I know the best sleep I was getting in my life is and I'm going to start running again. When I was running, my friend Dillard was getting ready for a marathon, which I know he was doing a bunch, so I'd run a little bit with him, but I was getting the best sleep in my life when I was doing running.
I was being pretty consistent this last week because it was like 8 degrees outside.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to even go to the gym, but this week I'm going to try to get out.
It was so cold. It was hard for me to sleep.
Yeah. I actually love cold. Like the room I sleep in is always, cold, and it doesn't really bug me too. And I'll even have a fan and everything on.
Yeah. There's actually, if you go on YouTube, Matt Walker's, there's a good TED Talk about sleep. He talks about some of the studies that they do in people with no sleep versus sleep and their brain functionalities and all of that. So, sleep is extremely important, especially the time you go to sleep. And I'm not going to go dive super into that topic. That'll be another topic for another day. But the times that you actually go to sleep, it's recommended around the 10 to 11. But there's studies coming out that are showing, depending on what time you actually go to sleep, is how much actual good sleep that you get and how much your body recovers, specifically based on your circadian rhythm and all that stuff. So there's a lot of studies and research out there. There's a lot of interesting facts. It is very important to get sleep, let your body rest, let your body heal. I wonder how much technology, because there's a lot more, maybe there's awareness around mental health issues, but in general, I'm wondering if, people just not getting sleep serious, as serious as they used to. There's a lot more activities to do. We're busier and busier and busier the older we get. So, but sleep's extremely important. Those are just a few of the many benefits. And obviously, I'm not going to dive into it, but there's a lot of health issues that can be caused by consistently not getting enough sleep. So,
I mean, I've watched enough Nightmare on Elm Street to know.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger still freaks me out, man.
So my funny story. So I guess I got really intoxicated one night.
Really?
And yeah.
Hey, drink responsibly, please.
I have night terrors, so I don't know what they're caused by, and I actually don't remember any of my dreams really very often. But Danielle was like, "Do you not remember walking around last night?" I'm like, "No." So getting into my personal life, me and Danielle sleep in separate rooms because of my night terrors, and two of our dogs don't get along. So I sleep with my dogs, and they're all my dogs, but I sleep with the dogs I brought, and this way I don't punch her while I'm sleeping or something.
Oh, you have night terrors that bad?
I have really bad night terrors. Sometimes I'll just be standing up and not know what's going on. But anyway, I guess and we have a gate that like blocks the hallway. I guess I walked over the gate perfectly fine, and I went into the laundry room. And Danielle asked what I was doing, and I'm like, going to the bathroom. And then I go into our shared bathroom, and I peed in the floor. And
you were sleepwalking?
I was sleepwalking.
That's crazy.
And I talked to my doctor. My doctor says, yeah, if you drink too much alcohol, it's actually a lot more common than you think. And so I'm like, oh, I better watch, how much I'm drinking before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because like the night terrors are one thing, and that's controlled into my space. But last thing I want is to be walking around the dang house. And somehow I made it all the way back to the bed, and I was perfectly fine. Which actually that night I might have woken up on the couch and wondered how I was on the couch. I don't remember. But anyway, it was wild. It's my wild story. You're getting a little too personal, letting you into my personal life. But I thought it was pretty interesting, and because he was bringing up sleep, and that happened. And I apologize, Danielle, for peeing on your floor.
Yeah. You're a terrible husband.
I actually had a guy walking. I woke up and he was peeing on my floor in my old apartment. So I've seen people do that. Like, I don't know, just peeing in closets and stuff.
All right, R. Kelly, settle down over there.
I'll pee on you.
All right. Well, let's go and let's move on to our last segment, the last call with the Bourbon Nerds. So if you haven't seen, we have just rebranded and we came out with a new logo. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I think it looks really good. So with that new logo, That
New
allows
logo, new responsibilities.
Yeah, new responsibilities for sure. We are going to be coming out with some merchandise. I know we keep saying that, but we're working with a couple people on some stickers.
As of this moment, yeah, I haven't received those stickers. I need to actually. He was supposed to send us some samples.
Yep.
And I don't know if maybe he said they would get here by Wednesday, but I hadn't seen them yet, so I'll have to message him after this. But Patrick is supposed to be putting us together some kind of thing for us to look at what t-shirts and stuff would look like. So I'm going to give him a little time for that.
So we're really excited. I think our logo looks great. I haven't had anybody say anything otherwise. Obviously, we've had a lot of people very supportive and sharing, hey, yeah, logo looks great. Really like it. Love it. So thank you guys for everyone that's commented on us. Yeah, it's our logo.
It's not something that we had to have AI.
No, AI could not take ice out of the glass for whatever reason.
Ice out of glass. That's for you, Theron.
That is for you, Theron, if you're listening. So you better be listening. No, just joking. So no, but we're really excited. We can't wait. And we're not, we're going to try to get merchandise up and running as quickly as possible. So stay tuned for that. Shirts, hats, Glencairns, or whiskey glasses. That'll be branded.
Actually, the whiskey, which we'll see, what we come up with whiskey glasses. But Patrick actually said here in a couple months he'll have his laser.
Yeah, he'll be able to engrave them.
Glasses and stuff. So we can either get some now, or we'll talk about that later.
For sure. No, but we're really excited about that. So also too, in March we will be going to the Blendery on the 14th.
Yep, 14th.
So if you're in the area, we have some open spots if you want to join our group.
I think we can get 10, and we currently have like 5
or 6. Yeah, I think.
So we have a few spots. Do you know if the
Damon, he hasn't committed yet.
No,
but
double check with him. I think he seemed like he was cool with it. So
yeah, he seemed
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, and also on that Saturday, the 15th, Whiskey Riot in Dallas. There's a big whiskey event, so we'll be there. So hopefully,
I think the Bourbon Pursuit guys are big sponsors of that. So
great. Well, maybe
that's where I heard it was on the Bourbon Pursuit podcast.
You did.
It was one of their ads.
And then we're going to be there. We're going to do the early, the VIP early entries. So hopefully we'll be sporting a couple branded shirts by then. But if not, you have one at least.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely that we'll have the shirts by then, but
we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. We might, maybe,
because that's only a couple weeks away. So.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, and then at the end of March we have the camping trip.
Yeah, and then we camping trip.
You're going to be gone for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to be gone. Busy, yeah. March is super busy. Yeah, we got a lot going on. So. Yeah, but again, I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you guys for all the support. Please continue to support, share, like, comment, all the things that we need you to do to keep supporting us. We're just getting close to over 800 downloads. We are working very hard to get camera set up so we can start doing more videos. Been working on that. So we promise it is coming soon. So we've put out quite a bit of content in a short period of time. So again, I just want to thank all of our fans, all the people that are just, family, friends, people supporting us. And I do appreciate it. It does go a long way.
And we also, by this time, I should have it released, but we also went to the Texoma Comic-Con today, which was really cool. And I got some videos from there. So we'll be releasing that. We do have TikTok, YouTube. Check us out there. I do post videos on there. I post a little more on TikTok right now, but eventually I do post what I think can transition to YouTube from TikTok.
Yep.
And then once we get videos going, I'll actually have a video editing set up and, post regular content. But, right now we're continuously growing. We're continuously trying to grow the channel and grow everything. So we're in that phase, we're self-funded. So everything kind of comes at a slower process, but we're getting there.
Yep. We're getting there and we're trying hard. So we appreciate it. And Texoma Comic-Con, that was pretty fun. That was cool.
There was a lot more people there than I thought.
There was. There were quite a bit. There's people dressed up. So thank you, Choctaw, for hosting that event and everyone that went. And I hope Annex, next year.
Yeah, Annex I think was there last year, but they weren't there this year. I don't.
I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to Holden about
Garner's was there and InStock was there.
Yeah, InStock. Talked to Garrison a little bit.
Yeah, so we got to see some of those guys. And then,
cool stuff.
My buddy Matt, his Nostalgic Adventurer.
Yeah, there was an awesome Predator.
That guy was dressed as Predator
costume was excellent.
Cody wanted me to get a video, but we're behind him. I'm not going to take a video of his behind.
Well, I would have.
I guess you could have. But no, that guy was really good. He did a good job. So if you happen to be a listener, you did a good job, bro.
Some birria tacos.
Oh man, birria tacos. I'm trying to remember her name.
The tiki.
She's a dealer at Choctaw and Bianca. Her name is Bianca.
Okay. The tiki. What's it
Bianca
called?
Takes Horse is her name.
Yeah, but the place is tiki.
Oh, it's tiki something.
Tiki something. I'm not sure.
But yeah, no, Bianca. Her stuff's really good. Go check it out. It's tiki. Yeah, I don't remember, but it's here in Durant. It's very good. That birria tacos are good.
Yeah, birria tacos
I've had
are
these
really
snow
good.
cones and stuff. They're like
The acai bowl is pretty good.
they're like loaded snow cones. So you get all kinds of crazy. Like you get like cheesecake on it and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
pretty good. I'm gonna have to go back and try some more things from them.
Tiki
So-
is it tiki? I don't know. I'm gonna stop trying to figure it out because I'm saying tiki way too much.
Yep.
Tiki bacata.
All right, it's time to close out before Garrett embarrasses himself. So,
Yep.
all right. So, well, we've got another exciting episode to come in. So we're going to talk a little bit about Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
For St. Paddy's Day.
And next week we have Ironer, and then
Yeah.
the week after we'll have the St. Patrick's Day episode. So yeah, we have some cool stuff coming up this month. March is a great month. So
Yeah, absolutely. Great content coming out. Tune in next time on Bourbon Nerd Z. I'm Cody.
I'm Garrett,
And we are the Bourbon Nerds.
Z.
Take care. Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.
Hey, Ethan, cut this part out, please, or I'll hunt you down.